Welcome to Yoga in Salt Spring. It's been a while, but here is the beginning of a new video series. This one will focus on the upper back, the dorsal spine. It's going to be a short video, and I might add other short videos to it to make a compilation of 2 or 3 20-minute segments. So what I have today is a mat, a couple of blankets. I've got a brick and a belt. If you don't have that, you can use a tie or a scarf. And this could be a book or some kind of similar block. And a couple of blankets or pillows would be good. I also have a chair. I'm just using an ordinary chair. It's not a yoga chair. All right, so we are focusing on the upper back in order to open the chest, lift up the front chest, and make some changes to the way we sit so often these days, whether we're driving the car or over a computer. We very often could be slumped, so the arms are forward or like this, chest drops forward, collarbones slip into the center. We're rounding the upper back. So this is to raise awareness so that we can begin to lift the front chest, be broad across the collarbones, roll the shoulders back, and keep the chin lifted so that it's parallel to the floor. So a couple of things we can do in a simple sitting position, and I'm going to add a little bit of height, suggesting that you do as well, so that when we start off, we're a few inches off the ground. So I've got a couple of blankets here. I'm going to give myself a little bit more height, so 3 or 4 inches. And you'll see as you do that, I'm changing the crossing of my legs, that my knees are a similar height to my hips. As soon as your knees find that they're up here, you need to bring the height of the seat up so that the groins can relax and the knees and the thighs can simply move forward. So from here, we'll do a few simple chest exercises to start us off. So to begin with, I like to take some deep breaths. So on an inhalation, lift the arms up, really stretch up right to the tips of the fingers, releasing the groins. Exhale on your way down. So we'll do 3 of those. Inhaling on the way up. Exhaling as you release down. One more time. Inhale on the way up, lifting the sternum bone, exhaling on the way down. Now bringing the left arm over toward the right, still keeping some weight on the left sitting bone, and release back. Right arm up, weight on the right sitting bone this time, and release back. And we can do this a couple of times to each side, really waking up the chest, the arms, and the upper back, and release. Then bring the arms in front of you. Take a breath in as you stretch the arms up. So chest often pops out at this stage, so you want to release the rib cage in and down. Bring the arms back toward the ears, stretch right up through the palms to the tips of the fingers, and soften the groins. They tend to clench as we lift the arms up. And then release down. Next time we'll do it by clasping the fingers. So clasp them in the unfamiliar way first. If you can, release the hands away from you. Raise the arms up. This is a good one. Even if you're sitting at your desk, you can do this a few times every hour to really activate the upper arms, the shoulders. Take a look up and see if your arms are similar in their stretch. And again, release the groins down. Bring the arms down slowly, change the crossing of the hands, lift the arms up, reaching up with the wrists, the palms, and watching out that you're not puffing the chest and the rib cage forward. Have a look up. Are you evenly stretching the arms? And then slowly release down. We're going to change our sitting position now into a kneeling position. If that doesn't work for you, then stay in the seated position or simply sit cross-legged or sit on a chair. So I'm going to use just a little bit of height. It depends what you need. And I'm going to be kneeling. So I'm kneeling with my knees together, my feet to the side of the blanket, and with my thumbs in behind the knees, I'm going to roll the calves out to the side. So if you've got that, you put your thumbs and your first finger in behind the knees, roll the calves out to the side as you sit in between. So now I can put my thumbs either side of the heel and roll the heels out to the side. I've got a little bit of support under my sitting bones. You may need more, so you can build your blankets up to the height you need. And from here, we're going to prepare for Gomukhasana, which is called cow face in India. So you're going to raise the right arm, really lift it as high as you can, and then with the other arm, help to bring that hand down the back. And again, watch the chest doesn't puff out to give you a sense of really getting further than you have. So walk the fingers way, way down the back between the shoulder blades, and then stretch the left arm out way behind you, walk it up the back, and connect with the fingers of each hand, rolling the upper arm in towards the temple. Use a belt or a strap if the hands don't reach, and you may find that one side does, one side doesn't. And then when you're here, ground the sitting bones, lift up through the crown of the head, and draw the shoulder blades into the upper back. The shoulder blades are the magic ingredient of activating the upper back. So bring the shoulder blades deep in as you roll the left shoulder back, roll the right upper arm in towards the ear and the temple. And then release, stretch the arms out to get rid of any kinks in the arms. And then raise the left arm, walk it down the back using the other arm to give it a little bit of help. Really open the armpit, so from the hip through the waist, lift it up, activate, and then swing the right arm behind you, bend it at the elbow, walk it up between the shoulder blades, walk it up, catch the fingers or catch your strap if you need to, and then begin to open the chest at the front, relax the rib cage, draw the shoulder blades in toward the spine at the back. Keep activating that raised elbow toward the sky. Keep a soft face, soft eyes, and equal weight on each sitting bone, on the top of the feet and on the knees. And then when you're ready, stretch the arms out or raise the arms over the head to release any tension in the arms and the shoulders. And then from here, we'll move into downward facing dog. But I've got my chair here because for a lot of people, downward dog throws the weight onto the arms and the wrists, which can be too much. So I'll show you the pose and then an alternative. We come onto all fours, spread the palms, middle finger facing forward, knees under the hips, turn the toes under, and then slowly lift up. Bring the weight back to the legs, back to the heels. Bring the chest in toward the thighs and then slowly activate the back of the legs, back of the calves until the heels are approaching the ground. It's not important that they reach, but they're approaching. And then let the head rest in between the arms as you keep lifting the hips away from the shoulders, away from the knees in an active pose. And then the resting pose here would be on the knees, on the tops of the feet, rest the head. If the head doesn't rest, then take a brick or a book or a cushion, place it under the head, and stretch the arms forward. This is the active version. The relaxed version is to release the arms down. And then I'll show the alternative, which is to have a chair, or it could be a small stool if you have. So we're going to place the heel of the hand on the chair step back, and then imagine that triangle shape in the same way as when I was on the mat. So now the heel of the hand is pressing into the chair. I'm lifting the hips, releasing the head between the arms, and opening the backs of the thighs, the backs of the calves, to activate the whole of the upper back. I'm squeezing the shoulder blades in toward the spine, pressing the thighs back, lifting up the kneecaps. It's an active pose all around. So be there for a few breaths. And then to come out, bend the knees, walk forward and come up. I want to do a couple of other forward bends to help activate the upper back. So this is the area we're looking at here. And one of the ways you can get into it is by standing away from the wall, bringing the hands to shoulder height on the wall, stepping back until your heels are under your hips, and then lengthening the spine, lengthening the spine. So the hands may now be a little bit lower than shoulder height, heels underneath the hips. Watch that the lower back doesn't cave in, but it remains long and straight as you press into the wall to lengthen the spine. You activate the back of the legs. Everything is working hard. You can hold it there for a few breaths or as long as you like. And this is a great one to practice anytime during the day. You can press against the kitchen counter, any door, wherever you are, the bus stop, you can do it anywhere. Moving on from there, we're going to take Uttanasana. So Uttanasana is similar, but we're going to go a little further forward. So with the feet hip width apart, the hands on the hips, I'm going to practice this with a chair first of all. So now my legs are vertical, whereas before they were at an angle. And I'm letting the hands slide forward on the chair, just as long as it's giving my back the ultimate stretch. So my legs should be vertical, knees lifted, thighs pressed back, and I'm allowing my hands to stretch forward. So this in itself is a perfect upper back extension. The shoulder blades are squeezing in towards the spine at the back. The upper arms are rolling upper arm out in this fashion, away from the ears. And I'm looking softly forward with a gaze that's not very focused, just underneath the chair. And then from here, I'm going to place the hands on the hips and come up. So that one is a perfectly adequate forward bend to work on the upper back. Here are a couple of others that take you a little deeper. So this one, hands on the hips, open the chest, inhale, exhale forward, comes down so that our hands are on the mat. Again, if they are not reaching the mat, you can find a couple of bricks. You can find some books or something to reach onto and place the hands on a little bit of height. But I'm going to put my hands on the floor to demonstrate. And this is the first one. So I'm looking up. I'm imagining I've really got to see something very important over there in front of me. So don't allow the head to drop and the upper back to hunch. This is where we're activating the upper back. And to accentuate that, you can bring the hands behind you, clasp them, and bring them up over the head. Activating the upper back, any amount. Release the head now, release the neck. Be there for a few breaths. You can change the crossing of the hands mid-air. Release one more time, bring the hands over the back. And then bring your hands down to the floor, hands on the hips, and come up. Take a break in Tadasana for a moment. And you can always pause the video at any point, of course, and then review, do it again, hold for longer, whatever you need. Continuing on, we're going to take a breath in, exhale forward, and this time from Uttanasana here, I'm going to take it a little deeper. So if it works for you with your hands, go ahead. If you need a strap, I've got one here, so I'll demonstrate that next. So first of all, I'm going to take 2 fingers and my thumb and a pincer movement around my big toe into Padangusthasana. So I'm going to keep the head looking forward. And this is really activating the upper back, the dorsal spine. So press the thighs back, lift the kneecaps up, open the backs of the legs. No micro bend in the knee unless your back is sore. So looking forward, pulling on the big toe, pulling on the arm, so there's a give and take process. And then if you can release the elbows out to the side and take the head down. So you can stay here for a few breaths. Come back to the first position, hands on the hips, and come up. And there's one more. So this one, I'm going to show you with the strap as well this time. Open the chest, exhale forward, and come down. So with the strap, you can always place it under the feet and do the same thing. So you can come up as far as you need to and still look forward. You can bend the arms out to the side or hold the strap firmly. You've got lots of options instead of holding onto the big toe. This time, we're going to place the hand underneath the foot so that the thumb is in the wrist. So any fingers that are being crushed, you just move them outside the ball of the foot. And again, you're looking forward and up. So activate the legs, look forward, any amount. And then release the head down, take the elbows out to the side. Couple of breaths. Active legs. Pressing the hands into the toes into the wrists even more to get more forward bend. And then release the hands one by one. Place the hands on the hips, take a breath in, and slowly come up. Tadasana. So that's the end of the first segment. I'm going to finish by sitting for a moment, letting everything release, come back to the center. And if you need to take a short shavasana at this point, you could bring a folded blanket under your head, lie down with your knees bent, and then stretch the legs out one at a time and have the hands just down by your sides and completely let go.